President Mahama say will landlord person more than 6 months rent advance free wa. Konako report to no my rent court. And me, this particular video is very important to me because as a young person, I'm also trying to get my own place. Okay, I haven't lived on my own before. I'm trying to get my own place, but every day now meeting 1 year in advance, 2 years in advance. Me too, for me to go through that amount of money and go and give it just for rent. Man, you rent it, yeah, that's not the end though. After rent, you have to worry about buying furniture. On top of that, you have to pay light bill, water bill. See, all those things, once you think about it, now if you're renting, you can feel. Then now you start looking around your parents' house like, you know what? It's not so bad, but it's bad because when you're living with your parents, you might not pay rent, but you're paying mentally, you're paying emotionally. They'll then go stress you. So me right now, I'm trying to get my own place. So this particular thing is very, very important to me. Now it's a full video, so we are going to do a breakdown. Okay, I'm going to take everything saying step by step, so that we really, really understand how this thing is going to go. If it's going to help us as youth, you get it. So let's take a look at the video.
Let me take housing and sanitation. Housing is a major problem. And for households, it is consuming the income of households. We need to have a national housing dialogue and decide how, between the private sector, government, and labor, we can come together and come out with a social housing policy to make sure that we provide affordable housing for workers to purchase on mortgage or to be able to rent at a favorable cost. The reason why private house owners are taking advantage is because of the deficit in housing. And so we have the rent courts. We say don't take more than 6 months of advance, rent advance. But the one who is renting and the house owner are both not prepared to go to the rent court.
So what I'm understanding from the president, he has realized that housing is a major issue in Ghana. Okay, the youth, we don't have enough. We don't even have enough to rent. Do you get it? That's why these homeowners, they find it so easy to just take 2 years advance because they know that you don't have a choice. Already, a lot of people are looking for places to rent. And so they'll find somebody else very, very easily. They know that, so they are leveraging on that to take exorbitant amount of money from us, knowing full well that this thing is stressing us. They don't really care. Do you get it? So the president has noticed this. He's saying that they need to actually sit down between government, private, and labor to figure out how they are going to do this. If they are going to build housing units, for us to be able to purchase on mortgages, and by mortgages, that means like you get it, but you'll be paying small every month. Either that or they'll make it a way that you can rent more affordably than it is now, because right now renting is expensive. Renting is very, very expensive. We're only doing it right now because we don't have a choice. We just want a place to lay our heads. It's not because it's easy. Do you get it? And the president is also making mention of rent court, which is very important. Apparently, in the rent court, you are not supposed to be taking more than 6 months rent advance. Now, this rent advance, I want to ask, is it rent advance in terms of wakonya a dino fresh now, you have to pay 6 months, or wakonya the fresh, no, you have to pay down 1 year or 2 years, and then after that is when you start getting the 6 months. I want to understand, is that how it is, or immediately you go and get the place, they have to give you 6 months and nothing more than that? I feel like that's where my confusion is, because for most people, it's like it's standard that once you're going to get a room, you have to be prepared to pay 1 year or 2 years in advance. So is that what it is? Or he's saying that even if you get a room today, the only amount of advance you're supposed to be paying is 6 months. Nothing more than that. No 8 months, no 1 year, no 2 years. 6 months straight. So I feel like that's where my confusion is. Once I figure that out, I feel like everything will be smooth sailing. And he's saying that most people are aware of this. You are aware that your landlord is not supposed to be taking more than 6 months rent from you at a time. But because none of you are willing to go to the rent court, as a landlord, they say for 1 year, but now also their man, because none of you want to go through that stress. But you're also hurting those of us who are willing to go through that stress simply to get the 6 months. You people should stop doing that. It's because of things like that we can't even implement these laws. If the government themselves is saying that they shouldn't be taking more than 6 months, they know there are people like you out there who go and pay 2 years. They know, and that's what they are leveraging on. That it doesn't matter. Some will say, and you government they sit down, and you government they sit down to me, can't train me. But that's not how the country is supposed to run. If we are all supposed to say, okay, we'll not listen to the government, we'll not listen to the police or any of the authorities, there will be major chaos. These bodies exist for a reason. These governance and government systems exist for a reason. Supposed to bring order. You get it? Order and smooth sailing activities to the country. If we all decide to disregard the government, then how we choose, like how we pick and choose what we are going to listen to or what we are going to abide by. If we are going to abide by all the laws, we need to abide by every single one of them, especially when it comes to this rent issue. So please, if you feel like going to rent court is too stressful for you, find somebody to do it for you. It could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague, a partner. Find somebody who's going to help you do, because this is important. If we all stand firm, like we the ones that are renting, we the ones who are renting, if we all stand firm and we decide that, okay, this is what we're going to be doing, the landlords, they don't have a choice, because I don't know, they still need people to come and take the rooms. So if we all decide that we are not paying anything more than 6 months, and if they refuse, we are taking them to rent court, at some point they'll all have no choice than to accept that this is the new order. You get it? They don't have any choice. But if some of us are agreeing and some of us too say, okay, we don't want the stress, it won't help us. Let's all be on the same page. Now, the president also made mention of the Kenya housing project and how Kenya's president or Kenya's government have been able to build over hundreds of thousands of home or housing units, so that governments, workers and workers of, any caliber, wherever it is you're working, whether private or government, you can still be able to purchase homes on a mortgage. But he's saying that the reason why we in Ghana will not be able to implement that is because the mortgages were set in dollars. And as you guys already know, the Ghana cedi to dollar ratio was already very, very unstable. You get it? The dollar was sliding, the Ghana cedi was sliding. It's like it was all over the place. So it's like the minute dollar goes up, your mortgages go up. And that's not going to tally with your pay or how much you're paying you, because just because the dollar has gone up doesn't mean that your pay is going up. And if this is a monthly payment, you'll find it hard. And mortgages, you have to pay every single month. Other than that, they might come and seize your home. You come back from work and you no longer have a place to stay. So he said because of things of this nature, it was making the mortgages and things of that nature very, very hard to sustain. But now he's taking a look at the Kenyan situation. He's realizing, okay, there's a way around it. They just have to build more housing units and make it affordable for workers, so that you don't have to spend your whole life renting. Some people are old, 40, 50, 60. They are still renting because they've never been able to gather enough money to build their own places or to buy their own places. You get it? They have no choice than to rent. Some have married, had children and grandchildren. They are still renting. It's not because they want to be renting forever, but they just don't have the means. Most people are regular salary earners. They're not millionaires that they can just get up and go and buy a home on a whim. You get it? They have to plan years in advance. And I'm glad that the government has taken note of this, because they're really trying to help us, so that even if you're a government worker, even if you are young or old, within a certain amount of time, you can become a homeowner. Or even if you are renting, it won't be something that will be breaking your back, that this month, if you lose your job, it means you cannot pay rent and you cannot have a place to live. The last part of what the president tries to say is that most of these things rely on the cedi, if it's going to be stable or not. And right now, he's working to maintain the stability of the Ghana cedi on the market, so that at least if you are paying this amount of money for mortgage every month, it will not be changed. It will not be fluctuating between months simply because the Ghana cedi wants to be appreciating and depreciating at will. He's trying to stabilize the cedi because he feels like he doesn't want a low cedi, but he wants a stable cedi. He wants the cedi to be stable so that everything else can follow suit, including this housing and mortgage issue. So hopefully, the government is actually trying, and they're not just talking, they're actually putting measures in place to help us. And for those of you back home, take note. If you go and your landlord wants to charge you more than 6 months rent, take them to rent court. The rent courts, they are there for a reason. They are going to hold that landlord. Your landlord does not have more power than rent control, rent court. Take them to the court so that they can uphold this law, so that we can all be stress-free. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this particular, situation, this new initiative. Is this going to benefit you? I'm sure it's not going to benefit the landlords or landladies, because they are used to collecting these huge amounts of money from us. But that's not what this is about. Okay, this is about the livelihood of Ghanaians and everything being easy and accessible to everybody. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.